That's Madeline Hawthorne from her new album Late Nights and Long Drives. Madeline calls it the perfect road trip record. We found Madeline at home in Bozeman, Montana, where she drove to from the East Coast years ago. It seems that driving is a big part of her world.
Tires flat on a rusty Chevrolet.
I would pick driving the roads, especially out west. I really enjoy the mountain passes, mostly in the summertime. Wintertime can get a little hairy, but it's all part of the adventure. So yeah, I mean, and I moved to Bozeman when I was 18, and I drove across the country with my now husband, who was then just my new boyfriend. And that was like, I was so excited to get in the car and just drive across the country. It was something I'd never done and I wanted to do. And that hasn't really changed. I still love driving all over this country. It's a special place.
All righty. And I think you may have described the album as the perfect road trip record. So
Yeah.
Your own music aside, what is your idea of a perfect tune to listen to in the car while you're hitting the road?
Oh man.
What do you like?
Well, it kind of depends, honestly. I mean, I would think if you've gone on some long drives in your day, you'd understand the need for switching things up. Oh, those are my dogs.
Oh, good.
Hey, Keller. Hang on one second.
Sure.
Come here, guys. That's what I get for sitting outside, but
That's all right. It looks nice out there.
yeah, got to take advantage of it while you can. Yeah, I love a mix of things, something that gives you energy and gets you going, then something maybe that's a little bit more laid back to kind of give you a breath. Switch to, I mean, all sorts of genres, but in this case, I think the record has a really good driving beat. It has a nice energy, and I think it flows really well too. So it kind of keeps you interested, doesn't kind of hit you over the head too much. It's not too loud, not too soft. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, feels good in that sense for being on the road. And then of course what I'm singing about, chasing the moon, long drive to Bozeman, even the like referencing like little dive bars in small towns out west, all of that stuff. I think it's just it puts you in a place, and I hope people enjoy it this summer while they're driving around.
Well, I grew up in Western Pennsylvania. I was very surprised to see somebody write a song about Pittsburgh.
That's right. Yeah.
Where did that come from?
You're like, why?
Stale air, way up high, gin and juice, clouded mind. Pittsburgh, you greet me with a smile. Tired bones hit the ground, can't let the past bring me down. Always seem to find my stride the second time around.
So I made my first record, Boots, during the pandemic, and a friend of mine had moved from Portland, Oregon to Pittsburgh. He met his now wife on Tinder, actually, and she's from Pittsburgh. So he moved there, and he built his home studio, and so that's where Boots was recorded. And I wrote Pittsburgh like on the plane on my way back from making my first solo record. And so it's just I've said before that this Tales from Late Nights and Long Drives is kind of like a sequel to Boots. And I almost put that as track one, just like having the listener go from, how my first record ends to how, it would start with Pittsburgh, which is, the first song that I wrote for the record. So anyway, I didn't get to see much of it. I was mostly in the basement of the studio, so I didn't get to see much of Pittsburgh, but I tried to buy beer and it was kind of challenging.
Well, you do have the Three Rivers, right?
remember.
Still Allegheny and all that, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't again, I mostly just the inside of the studio and a little bit of the neighborhood to go for a walk just to clear my head a little bit. But it was like, recording is such an intensive process, or at least for me, it has been. I haven't had the experience of recording something over long periods of time. It's just go in and like do it. And so both albums were like that. And in both situations, I needed at least a walk every day to kind of clear my head.
Right,
And
right,
then
right. I think I read
Yeah.
that you recorded this record in 10 days in a studio called Bear Creek near Seattle
Yeah.
somewhere. So
Yep, it's outside of Seattle on, I think it's like 10 acres, and it was really beautiful, and we got a lot of different weather patterns then. It was February, so we got some snow, we got some rain, and yeah, I would just go out and walk it off and come back refreshed and ready to go. And yeah, 10 days of it. It was intense.
So you
fun.
didn't open the record with Pittsburgh, you opened it with a song called Cold Shoulder. Why is that?
I'm no stranger to the cold shoulder. Stakes getting high, still getting by. Tiger stripes don't change. I ain't got no shame. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that song, Cold Shoulder, is kind of like finding this person who's gone out on her own to try and make a career in music. We're like right in the middle of it, where she's like dealing with everything, all of the challenges, and saying, you know, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So I kind of wanted to start off with that message for this second record. So
Right.
yeah.
Because Boots came out in what, 2021, right? So,
Correct. Yep.
So are you a much different artist, person, performer than you were back then?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like, I feel like my songwriting is still similar, and the vibe that I'm going for with the band is similar, but I've definitely grown quite a bit. I've been to a lot more places and played a lot more shows. I might go inside.
Okay.
Because they're so loud.
No problem.
So yeah, like all of the folks that I've met, songwriters that I've been around, has yeah, I'm gonna do this. Okay. That's better. It has yeah, changed me in some ways, but you know, I'm still the gal from Bozeman, Montana, likes to hang out outside and go on adventures, and yeah, so it's a little column A, a little column B, I would say.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
yeah, there we go. That's better.
Now I think you had a guy named Ryan Hadlock that helped produce the record. What did he contribute to the effort?
Oh yeah, he was great. He was in Seattle, and that studio, Bear Creek, his parents started in the 70s, and they turned this barn into this really beautiful, eclectic, very spiritual place. And so he's taken it on, you know, as the next generation. So it's a really special place to him too. So it was wonderful to share that space and be there. And so I really appreciate him, you know, opening it up to me and to the fellas that I hired to play on the record. And then as far as his direction, one of the things he did that I really appreciated was from the get-go, you know, he'd listen to the demos that we'd made, and he said he liked them, but he heard a lot of guitar, like a lot of lead guitar, and it was really busy. And he thought that my acoustic guitar and my vocals should really be the driving force of the album and the sound and the vibe that we were going to make as a group for those 10 days. And for some reason, I didn't expect that. Maybe because on my last record, Boots, it was less of my driving force, and the band kind of worked together, and then I worked my way into that, which I enjoyed that process, and I love how Boots sounds, but I really appreciated that was what Ryan felt was inspiring, and that was the sound that he wanted to hear. And so yeah, I think that's apparent on the record, and it was just a vote of confidence for me that
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Appreciated.
Although there is some nice guitar on, was it So It Goes, I thought was
Oh yeah.
So who's playing that?
So and so it goes. So and so it goes. Baby, I'm just getting old.
is a Sydney Nash is playing guitar on that, and then Louis Longmire is playing pedal steel. And I love how the guitar and the pedal steel kind of do this dance back and forth. It's such a cool vibe. And Tyler Thompson is on drums on this record, and he's the one who lives in Pittsburgh.
Right.
So he engineered my first record, and then he played drums on this record. And I mean, those guys, you can hear their amazing playing all over the record. And then of course they were also very much in line with the idea of listening to what I do and then building off of it. So really talented guys and super humble and great to work with.
Cool. Now I see you've done a video for Neon Wasteland, which
Yes.
so why have you chosen that one to turn into something visual?
Everything is bringing her down. Living on the sidelines, stuck in this town. She needs a break, could use a hand. She's all alone in this neon wasteland. Yeah.
My team and I really love the vibe of that song, and then it does have this aesthetic to it. And so we decided to utilize Livingston, Montana, which is a super charming, small Western town just outside of Bozeman that has really great old neon signs and just a totally awesome kind of old school Western aesthetic. And so we combined that with also a venue in Denver, Colorado called Cervantes, and had a lot of fun making that
Cool.
video. So yeah, I think the song's got a good vibe. And then again, with all of the, the lyrics describing the lights and stuff, we thought it made a lot of sense to do something visual with that one.
Right. Now, speaking of the vibe, I made a note here. I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest for myself, or gave a little Sheryl Crow vibe to it. Is
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Oh, totally. She's a badass. So
Okay.
I take that as a compliment.
Oh, good. Because you never know how people feel about being compared to somebody else, and it's like,
Sure. But it's kind of how it's how we can sort of help ourselves like lock down or kind of ground with what it is we're trying to, hear. And so I don't mind at all, because I love her music.
All right. So, and then the record ends with Long Drive to Bozeman, which is obviously autobiographical. Is there anything else you want to add to what you've already said about Bozeman and how you got there?
You look like a summer day in your Havana shades. You say you ain't so sure about me. You're waiting on a world that'll never change. Running with me, it shouldn't seem so strange. It's a long drive to Bozeman.
It's a sweet song, and like I said, my husband and I drove out to Bozeman when I was 18 years old. He was 19, and we were just kids and didn't really know what we were doing. And I mean, we were a mess the whole way. Like, left our credit cards at one place, and we like ran out of money, and we had some pocket change, so we were like trying to buy cigarettes at the gas station with pocket change. I mean, we were just like, we had no idea what we were doing. And but we were absolutely in love, and so excited for this new adventure. And so yeah, that song's just a testament to our relationship and our desire to travel and to go on adventures and never grow up too much. And Bozeman has certainly been a town that has facilitated.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Because was that Montana was always your destination when you left home, or were you just winging it?
we had Montana as our destination, and I knew very little about Montana, but I wanted to go out west, and so we landed in Bozeman, and both went to college here in Bozeman, made connections with people that are our friends and family to this day, and It's just a really, really magical place. And there's a lot of adults here who are very young at heart, and they're just wonderful people to be around. So yeah, and it's we're still together 17 years later. So
Is it really that long? I was afraid.
yeah,
I had no idea that it was 17 years. So
yeah, it's still a long time.
that's
So
pretty good.
Bozeman's working for us, and
Yeah.
yeah, had to throw that sweet little one in there at the end.
Yeah,
Thought it was
definitely.
nice.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. So record's out on Friday. What are you going to do on the day? Anything exciting in Bozeman?
I'm getting on a plane. So I actually
Oh,
get on a plane tomorrow
right.
and flying to Denver. And I'm recording 2 brand new singles with my Denver band at a studio called the Blasting Room in Fort Collins, Colorado. And then on Friday, we're getting on a plane and we're flying to San Luis Obispo for Live Oak Music Festival. So we'll be on the plane. So maybe I'll have a champagne.
There
I
you
might.
go.
I might have a Southwest fancy style champagne on the plane.
And then are you hitting the road or doing more shows, or what's your plan after that?
Yeah. So we'll be in California. After that, we'll be in Colorado. And we do a lot of back and forth. Having a band based in Colorado is actually a really great. I think as much as I miss my bandmates and I wish that they were right down the road and we could get together for dinner and stuff when we're not on the road, it's really awesome to have them all in such a great music hub for the West. So I spend a lot of time in Colorado. And after Colorado, I'm going to fly home. I'm going to pick up my tour van and I'm going to drive it to Quincy, California. And I'm going to fly my bandmates to Reno and pick them up on the way. And then we're doing 2 weeks from California back up to northern Montana. It's crazy, but yeah, who wants a boring life,
Sounds like you're going to need some more road music to take you in there.
Yeah,
Do you listen to the
well,
radio? Do you
that's
have
what
CD
bandmates are
player? Do you
for.
have a playlist? How do you listen to the music in the vehicle these days?
Yeah, I mean, my tour van's a 2007, so it has a
That's the
CD
CD
player.
player. That's beautiful.
So I have a bunch of old CDs from high school.
Yep.
Plus, when we're on the road, we meet up with bands, like we'll take their CDs and do CD trades since I have a way to play CDs in the car.
Yep.
And then with the bandmates, we have I mean, I love my bandmates' taste in music, and they've showed me so many artists that I love, and so it's always just kind of like a trade-off of who's up next and who wants to share something new. And then they also like to listen to some weird podcasts. So sometimes I tune in, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna
Time for a
surf
nap.
the back of Instagram today.
Yeah, very good. Well, everybody says they always want to come down to New Zealand, but it sounds like you really would. There's a good chance you will make it down here with the traveling you do. So we look forward
Oh
to
yeah.
when that happens. So it'd be great. Thanks for sharing time with me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it was lovely to chat with you, and I also hope that I can make it that way sooner rather than later. I think it seems like a beautiful place, and it seems like y'all have a great music scene out there.
Yeah,
So
we do. And there's a lot of places to drive. It's
yeah,
big, empty highways all over the place.
love it.
Just got to go on the other side
Yeah,
of the road, though, so be careful.
oh God. Right. Yeah, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Exactly. All righty. Have a good
All right,
luck
have
with
a
the
great
record, and
day.
thank you.
Thank you. See
Bye
ya.
bye.